All righty, guys. We are officially live. Let's wait for people to get in here. Give them a minute to connect. GM Guess Sherpa. GM BM LM. For my bad kids and my lazy boys. Got a lot to cover today. A lot. I have a different background, as you can see. I'm currently in my office in Hong Kong. Normally I take these from home because they're usually relatively late at night. But this is where I sit every day when I'm in town. Recently, that hasn't been a lot. Just got back from a very long, very successful, very busy trip pretty much around the world. Started off going to the States, spent some time in New York, had some meetings there, some very good ones. Met with people like Skip Protocol, which is a very cool Oracle program or Oracle project in New York. Hey guys, how's it going? Solman, Daniel, Bartos. Anyway, then went down to Texas for Consensus, up to St. Louis to see my family. My grandma's there. She's a little bit old and getting a little sick, so I went to go see her, and then flew to Dubai for a bit, then back to the States for the Coinbase Crypto Summit, which was awesome. Then flew to France, to the south of France for the Binance Lions Festival event that we were doing together, which was also very good. And finally got back to Hong Kong end of last week. So was very jet lagged at the beginning of this week. I haven't really slept a lot, but I think I'm over the jet lag. Very excited to be back in the office. It's been a crazy hectic week, but it's been a good one. Always love being back with the team, working very closely side by side. And one thing that I've been reflecting about a lot with the team is this idea of, when I go away for a long time, when I'm traveling, obviously our team is growing significantly. The company is changing overnight. Things are growing rapidly. It's a really awesome thing to experience. But at the same time, when I'm traveling, I'm kind of moving ahead like this with the vision, the direction, and the strategy of the business. And, the team isn't always keeping up with me, and that's not their fault. That is really more of an idea about how can we communicate effectively better amongst each other as the team grows, as we become bigger. We're a fairly significant team now, widely distributed around the world. And, this is one of the challenges that a growing company is undertaking. And it's obviously something that's super exciting to me to continue to solve and continue to do better. So, a message that I'm consistently conveying to the team and also want to consistently convey to you guys is that, on the face of it, if you look, from the outside in, Mantra this year has done amazingly well. And that's, nothing to say against that, honestly. Like, we really have. Community's grown, the team has delivered a lot of things. The testnet has had, great success. dApps are being built. A lot of different products are going to be launched. Really amazing partnerships. But, the best part about that is it really legitimately is the tip of the iceberg. And, from my perspective, looking outside in at the business, and at the growth of it, like, I am not even remotely satisfied with where we're at, which is kind of funny. So I think that's a positive thing. There's some learnings in that, and hopefully we'll unpack a little bit of the successes and a little bit about more what we should be looking forward to, going forward. So a lot of stuff to cover today. Just wanted to start off the show with that. It's funny because the big U.S. presidential election is going to be on later today, and I was making a little bit of a joke with Prof K, or Nick Krapels, our CSO on Twitter, on X, that because he posted something about the election, that actually this event was going to be the real TV that everyone wants to watch tonight, but I'm not so sure about that. We'll see. Probably more viewers for the presidential election debate. Anywho, good to see you guys. We have people from all over the world. Promise 9/11, Raymond, Isaiah, Abdul, Mihailo from Serbia. Hello. Where's everyone from? If you could drop your country in the comments, would be good to see you guys, see where everyone's calling in from. It's morning time in the States. It's evening time here. It's about 8 p.m. Here in Hong Kong. I'm here for at least a little bit. Been here all week. We'll be flying over to Dubai for a special day, which we'll share about more next week. Germany, Jan's from Germany. Awesome. So we got people from all over the place. So anyway, just wanted to give a little bit of a first apology because we were supposed to do this, I guess, a week or two ago. And I canceled a little bit last minute, and I do apologize for that. I was in the States. The scheduling got a little bit messed up. It was in the middle of the Coinbase Crypto Summit, which was, obviously a really great event. So had a few things that we needed to kind of sort out there, and I promise it was worth it. So we have a lot of stuff to cover today. We have people from all over Poland, China, Turkey. Shout out to Ekin. Shout out to Daniel and Bartos. Lots of countries represented here. Gotta give some love to the Bite Lion. He'll know what I'm talking about on that one. Anywho, let's get it cracking. So I'm looking at the agenda for today. We got integrations, development, and ecosystem updates. Okay, let's see. So integrations. One of the main things. Scott, shout out from hello JP from Scotland. How's it going, Scott? Good to see you, mate. So in terms of integrations, great. El Sali is asking about ONDO. Good question. So obviously, when we were down at Consensus, which seems like it was ages ago, but it wasn't that long ago in Austin, I had a panel discussion together with Justin, CEO of ONDO, Carlos, the CEO of Securitize, which is obviously the biggest tokenization platform in the world, and Adam from RWA.xyz, which is a great RWA data analytics provider. So that was a really interesting panel. And right at that event during Consensus, we announced our partnership with ONDO, where effectively what we'll be doing is deploying these effectively like yield-bearing opportunities where people can participate and they can earn tokenized treasury yield as well as additional boosters in ONDO and OHM tokens. So we did a soft launch about last week, had a lot of great learnings from that. We're working to relaunch the next pool that you guys can participate in, but with a lot of learnings on how to make it more frictionless for the users, how to improve the user interface so you can see better what you're investing in, what is your relevant APY that you'll be receiving, what's the breakdown of the different tokens that you're going to be getting, a number of different things. So we had great user feedback. Really appreciate everyone who participated. You guys will also be relevant for the second pool that's going to be launched. But the idea here is we want to bring as much TVL and as much liquidity to Onchain mainnet at the maturation of these pools. So effectively, if you're participating, the idea is that we'll be bringing USDY stablecoin liquidity to Mantra mainnet. The idea here is that we'll be doing, the USDY is currently available and accessible via Noble. Noble is it's a Cosmos chain that's supporting USDC natively in the Cosmos and also USDY. It's compatible with IBC, so is Onchain. So via IBC, we'll be able to have natively issued Cosmos-based USDC and USDY on Onchain come day one. Ideally, we want to have as much TVL and as much usage in this pool by the time mainnet happens, because then it'll convert over and you'll have a lot of stablecoin liquidity in the ecosystem. That's obviously a very important thing to building out a very strong DeFi ecosystem. So hopefully that answers that particular question. I see a couple of things coming in, how the partners with ONDO and SwissBorg help Mantra grow. Obviously, SwissBorg was another one that we did, where effectively Mantra and OHM was included in their thematic, RWA ETP, exchange traded product, where when people buy these ETPs, it's automatically buying OHM on the market, and it will create, I think it's an 8% share of the pool or of the product. So if you would get $100 million of this ETP created, that'd be $8 million of buying of OHM from the market, which is obviously a cool thing. So that's one of the ways, obviously. And then, of course, getting more exposure, getting more people to be familiar with the project, learning more about what we're actually building. So that's obviously, how we're trying to position these different opportunities. ONDO, I talked about how we're bringing more liquidity to the ecosystem as it pertains to stable coins. Lecter, quick question. Incentivized testnet, when's it going to end? It'll end when the mainnet begins, roughly speaking. The other question is, when is the mainnet launching? Obviously, I can't say a date. I do have a date in my head, but just got to wait a little bit longer before we're going to announce that. We constantly are saying publicly, after summer, before the U.S. election. You know when the U.S. election is. You know when summer ends, somewhere in the middle. So think about it from that perspective. Obviously, we don't want to launch in the middle of summer. That's not when the attention is the best from the crypto space. Everyone's on vacation, they're traveling, they're doing things. So because of that, we're looking to plan a little bit after that, when people are back in school, back at work, back focused for the rest of this year. There's a big conference circuit. There's a bunch of different conferences that we'll be participating at all over the place. I'll be flying, all over the world like I do normally, taking it for the team, my body, and doing what we got to do to spread the good word of what we're building. So Gas was asking, I fortunately missed the vault. Will it be open again? Absolutely. And as I mentioned before, there's going to be even better opportunities, even better user experience, which is really something that we're heavily focused on. Tan Zeal, are there other exciting possibilities for RWA tokenization besides real estate or U.S. Treasuries? Absolutely. We are looking at and exploring all different types of real-world asset tokenization. U.S. Treasuries is one. Other types of financialized products is another. Different types of LP interest in funds, whether that's private credit, private equity, private debt. That's a big one, actually. We're looking at a lot of different fund tokenization. What else? Commodities, content and IP, fan tokens, so many different things, honestly. The list goes on and on. Gold, another one. So anyway, tons of different opportunities. We're exploring all of them. Collectibles, actually, as well. It could be like whiskey or, baseball cards or anything. You can see I have a lot of collectibles in my in my office. Bit of a collector myself, to be honest. Anywho, so Daniel, what's the next for Mantra in terms of development and growth, and what can the community expect in the coming months? I'm going to give a bit of a shitty answer here and not give too much away. But we have so many things planned. It's actually kind of incredible that we're able to. I literally have to slow the team down because of how many different things that we have going for us, and we can't actually oversaturate the market with news. So it's amazing that when you're able to kind of keep some of the deals and some of the announcements in the back pocket like we are right now, it really is an amazing thing. And I'm just really fortunate and thankful that we've been able to develop a lot of these relationships, and the team is absolutely crushing it in terms of the network building and building a lot of the credibility that really allows us to have these partnerships that are massive. So I haven't even been looking at my not my script, my my listings that I'm supposed to be talking about. I'm just kind of riffing off of what you guys are asking, but I will talk a little bit about some of the things that I'm supposed to talk about. So Azam's asking what happened at the Hackers Hideout in Delhi. I think we've had 7 or 8 projects. I forget the exact number that came out of that. I think it went really well. I heard really good feedback. We had a lot of people posting about it on X. Some of the developers were giving us some great feedback about documentation, different bits of the code that could be improved. So it was really useful experience. Again, one of the things that I'm super focused on right now is drilling down into the team and into our culture. This idea that it's better to fail often and fail fast. The faster you fail, the faster we can fix it. And fail isn't a bad thing in this case. It's actually a really great thing. Because then you can have so many learnings and you can just fix it and you can move on and you can be better and faster and stronger going forward. So that's a big thing for us. We want to ship quick, learn quick, and re-deliver quick and iterate quick. That's a very important thing for what we're trying to do going forward. Anna's asking, will Leap wallet integration bring new features for RWA tokens? Leap's a great wallet for the Cosmos ecosystem. I think it's one of the up and coming ones. We're excited to work with them. But we are agnostic as a blockchain. We want to support all interesting builders, both from a wallet and infrastructure perspective, validators, different projects. So we're trying to be as supportive as possible, and Leap's been a great team. We're excited to integrate with them. What else do we have? I'm supposed to talk about SwissBorg. We talked about Zoth. Zoth's another cool one. That was a dApp that will be deploying a Mantra mainnet. I believe they're integrating and testing on Testnet at the moment. So that was a pretty cool one. One of the other big ones that we announced was Zand Bank. So Zand Bank is a digital first bank in the UAE. They're backed by Franklin Templeton. They're backed by the chairman of the largest real estate developer, Emaar. The Al Nahyan family, which is the Abu Dhabi royal family, is a shareholder. And it's a very strong banking partner that allow us to bring traditional finance institutions and assets onto Mantra, into the ecosystem, as well as bringing fiat capabilities into the space very quickly and easily. This is an idea of bringing on and off ramping into an on-chain environment, which is something that's been lacking in the traditional DeFi space, I would say. So super excited about Zandbank. We're going to be a Web3 partner of choice, and looking forward to work with them on a number of things, exploring real estate tokenization, on and off ramping, like I mentioned, and a number of other things which are pretty cool. Some good questions. Are we expecting Mantra airdrops anytime soon? I mean, the airdrop has to happen at mainnet, so that's the response to that one. Azam follows up and is asking, when we announce the projects from the hacker hideout selected for incubation. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I will have to check with the team. I honestly don't know. Hopefully soon. I have already seen that there's been projects, and I've seen some of the things that they're working on. They're really cool stuff, but I do not know the specifics of that question. Can you provide an update on the Hongbai incentivized testnet? I'm not sure what that explicitly means, but Hongbai testnet has been going for about 2-ish months now. It's been great. We're the #1 project on Galxe in terms of followers. We've had 4.6 million participants roughly on the Galxe quests. We most recently launched our Mantra Zone leaderboard, where you can actually do on-chain quests, and that's been really, really good. So the more quests that you do on both Galxe and on the leaderboard, you'll be able to earn more karma, is what we're going to be calling it now. I think it was points first, but we're going to be calling it karma. So that's a new thing. That's obviously the more karma you have, the better. So go and try to earn as much karma and as much points as possible. But we've had literally tens of thousands of people already in the first day sign up and create wallets on Mantra, which is awesome. So go check out the Hongbai leaderboard. It's pretty epic, and we're going to continue to improve it, as I mentioned before. Deliver fast, learn fast, iterate fast, ship fast. Okay, what else? I think we've already answered some of these questions. So back to the agenda. So I also wanted to talk about Laser Digital. So we also announced that Laser Digital, which is the, as far as I'm aware, wholly owned, but don't quote me on that, crypto arm or digital asset arm of Nomura Bank. Nomura is one of the largest financial institutions and banks in Japan, and they have a crypto digital asset arm called Laser Digital. They're regulated by VARA in Dubai, by ADGM in Abu Dhabi. I think they just got that officially approved. They already had the in principle. I think they're regulated even in Switzerland and maybe the Channel Islands, something like that. Anyway, very strong institutional partner. We announced that they had also additionally invested into our earlier funding round that we announced earlier this year. They had actually participated in the same round. Just for compliance reasons, it took a little bit longer for the announcement to come out, but that's okay. They've been a very, very strong partner for us for a long time. We're working with them on a number of different initiatives. Big shout out to the Laser team. They're a joy to work with. We're super excited to have them as a partner. They've been incredibly value-added investors. And for anyone who is a founder who has a project, highly recommend you to try to work with Laser. They've been a tremendous asset, and we're super, super excited to have them on the cap table. John, can you share something about Mantra Hackers Hideout? How come you think of that? No, I cannot share anything, man. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. I mean, the team is big now. Like we're gosh, I think 70 or so. I mean, it's a lot of people, and some of these things are actually just run by, the department leaders, right? So there are certain things that I am actually just removed away from in the day to day now, and my life is changing in front of my eyes at a speed of light. It's a pretty incredible thing, and that also means that my role is changing significantly in the business. The company is changing and growing very drastically. It's really this up into the right kind of rocket ship thing that's happening, and it's humbling, and I'm very, very fortunate and grateful for this experience. It just makes me hungrier to continue doing what we're doing and working and growing and doing it better. And I can feel the same from the team, and I'm super proud of all their efforts, and really supportive and thankful for the community for supporting us as well. But as I mentioned, this has been drastically changing for everyone. We had much smaller amount of people in the beginning of the year. It was a much different program that we were running, and during the course of this year, things have changed. We've grown a lot. We've learned a lot. We've delivered a lot. We'll continue to do that. But not only is my role changing, but the team's role are changing, and we're having to level up and go from I'm gonna quote my COO, from bro to pro. So we're on that mission from bro to pro right now. But at the same time, sometimes you still got to be the bro to bro stuff. That's a little bit of an inside joke. What else do we have to say? Okay, so some other things that we can talk about. Hi, Rizwan, how's it going, man? Or I think that's a man. What else? Yeah, okay. In terms of some of the conferences that we attended, as I mentioned, we were at Consensus, which was amazing. We had the Wiki EXPO here in Hong Kong. We had team members there. ETH3O, Ben, our head of LATAM, was down there. Really, getting the word out globally about Mantra, what we're doing. I think we've done an amazing job this year to solidify ourselves as one of the top RWA projects in the space and the leading RWA L1. We want to be the leading RWA project, period. But we also have ambitions to be much bigger than just that, and bigger than just a category leader. So we're super excited about the positioning that we have as a market leader, but that just makes us want it even more. So we're not done yet. I mean, really not done yet. Just really getting warmed up, and the rest of the year has a lot of stuff in store. So what we are looking at building and launching going forward includes some very interesting partnerships and announcements as it pertains to different RWA verticals. Expect a few different verticals coming out in the first one starting next week. Very, very exciting one next week. I cannot wait to share with you guys what that's going to be. That's a big one, very, very big one. And then more thereafter, different types of asset classes, different types of products, different ways for you guys to get involved on the testnet, different apps that are being launched on the testnet that you can interact with, earn karma from, give feedback with, and that's going to be a really, really beneficial thing for all you guys to get involved, and let us know what you think, and tell us how we can improve. Basically, feedback culture is a really important thing for the company. El Sali, could you share some insights into risk reward profile of USDY? I'm also curious about the specific features and benefits of this vault compared to other stablecoin vaults. Okay, so the risk reward profile. So effectively what you're doing here is you're taking your USDC, in this case, you can participate on Ethereum or base chain, and you deposit that into this pool. USDC is a non-interest bearing stablecoin, right? You would have to go and deposit it into some other pool, potentially lend it out, which obviously has risk attached. But in this case, you're just depositing into a pool. It's not being lent out. It's actually just being converted into USD. It's being used to buy US Treasuries via BlackRock's BUIDL fund. Those US Treasuries are being tokenized. Well, technically BUIDL is already tokenized. They're being tokenized and turned into what is called USDY. USDY is a representative of a US Treasury note, Treasury bill, which provides roughly 5.3% interest annualized. So effectively, your non-yield bearing USDC just immediately converted into a yield bearing replica or yield-bearing substitute called USDY that's basically yielding 5.3% annualized. In addition, as participating in this pool, you're going to be getting ONDO incentives, so additional ONDO bonus, as well as OM rewards. So you're getting you're taking stablecoins, you're getting what's called a risk-free rate from the U.S. government, which is basically what U.S. Treasuries are, 5.3%. I think later this year rates will come down, so now's actually a really good time to optimize that. And you're also getting exposure to 2 of the top RWA tokens, effectively for free. Obviously there is counterparty risk at all times. I think it's minimal in this case. There's smart contract risk, but in this case, this is a very highly audited contract. It's, there's a pretty significantly custodial element to it. So I actually think, not financial advice, but it is a very exciting product that, in tokenized form, should be attractive both in bear and bull markets. So I think that's a pretty, important kind of thing to understand. And, generally speaking, I think, a lot of on-chain, fiat-based RWAs or stable coins will basically, not all, but a lot will turn into yield-bearing. But that obviously has different considerations attached. So Risky Cars asking about energy tokenization. It is something that we've seen come across the desk a few times, but nothing honestly super noteworthy just yet. But I mean, it obviously is a huge opportunity. We just haven't seen anything specifically, just being completely honest. Let's see. Randomizer. What are your thoughts on the future of RWA tokenization in DeFi given current market conditions? I mean, I believe firmly that asset tokenization is the future of finance. Bringing finance on chain is inevitable. I believe we will be the market leader for that. That being said, there's going to be a lot of amazing companies and amazing projects which are going to be RWA narrative focused or just asset tokenization focused. And you can already see that, honestly. Like I think I had a tweet not too long ago. I was talking about how we're hearing from our investors that companies and projects are like pivoting into RWA narrative mantra style. And, that was obviously very, gratifying to hear and, gave us a lot of pride. But at the same time, we didn't pivot into RWA. We've literally been doing this for years. Mantra wasn't always, an asset tokenization focused project. But if you take a step back and understand my story and honestly how Mantra has been developed over the years, when I first got into crypto, I was working on a centralized exchange, and the idea was to basically build a one-stop shop for crypto, digital securities, tokenized equities, all different kinds of things, but in a centralized exchange model. That didn't work for a number of reasons: market timing, regulatory environment, et cetera. Wasn't experienced enough. Learned a lot from that. Then was working on like private placement tokenized offerings in the United States, particularly with our partners in Soma, Bill and Jim, Tritorian. So we did the first, tokenized offering of a professional basketball player's contract back in 2019. I think it was technically his earnings potential, but it's a very cool offering we did under a Reg D private placement. So we did one of the first regulated tokenized offerings ever. That was like, the original RWA, but it was very manual. It was very, very, very vanilla product. Then, COVID happened, the world, was blowing up, and we had to figure out what we were going to do with ourselves. And that's when we launched Mantra. We'd been, early on-chain DeFi users, and we saw the potential of DeFi, thinking like, hey, DeFi can be the next thing of finance. We started launching Mantra, had some initial great success. For some of the OGs who've been around, they remember the whole story. And we also learned very quickly that there's pitfalls in DeFi. There's pitfalls in building on-chain. There's pitfalls in building permissionless environments that anyone can interact with. Anyone can launch tokens. Anyone can, create liquidity pools and rug you, or, create malicious contracts and scam you, or all different types of stuff. And there was an educational barrier that needed to be, taken care of. And there was also a pretty significant technical leap that needed to be enabled. And I think a lot of these things have culminated. You had, technological advancements. You had mind share coming together. You had, which, helped particularly in the beginning of this year with Larry Fink talking about tokenization on CNBC and MSN and all the like. You also had regulatory frameworks developing to a point where you can actually operate effectively. You can operate and create secondary market liquidity, and you had a lot of interesting products springing up. We had been looking at this for years, right? Like we initially and still are working and building on Soma, which is a US focused, tokenized equities DEX. Have some really exciting news that's coming out about that sooner rather than later as well. And I don't just mean like related to the CF or the next launch, but some very exciting news there. The next part was looking at Mantra Finance and getting our licensing in Dubai, and then of course since the kind of challenge of building regulated products and permission products on chain, we saw that there was a need for a layer one that fit with the ability to have sovereignty over our validator set, the ability to upgrade or enable regulatory changes and regulatory advancements. And we also felt that there was specific modules that could be issued, like our DID module or decentralized ID module or Mantra token service, which is for token creation, RWA tokens, utility tokens, etc., as well as this guard module or compliance module, which effectively like melds the two and allows you to create a very customizable governance framework based off the wallet that's interacting with the token, which is interacting with a smart contract or the pool or the product or whatever. And we took all these learnings over the last, my 7 years in crypto, 8 years in crypto, well, working in crypto, I should say. Been in Bitcoin for a little bit longer than that, but anyway, that's kind of how we have developed to where we are today. So this idea that we pivoted, I think it's a fallacy, and it was actually just an evolution of well, one, my life, and two, just like I said earlier, trying, failing, iterating, and continuing to push forward and persevere. And now we've got significant backers and support system, which has allowed us and given us the catalyst for this growth trajectory that we're on right now. And I'm honestly incredibly thankful for that. It means a lot. Anywho, I'll not get emotional on this call. So back to some questions. Jan Otto, can you say something about the Mantra Vault NFT? Is that actual or is that ended? I'm not entirely sure what that question means. You mean the ONDO pool? Because if you mean that did end the first one, which is the soft launch, we're going to be launching a new one shortly. Promise 911, can you elaborate on the specific real estate partnerships? I cannot, because they'll be elaborated on in the near future. So anyway, what else? What do I got coming up next for this month? So the rest of July, we got some interesting stuff, as I mentioned. I'll be flying out to Dubai, so expect some news coming out of there next week. And then after that, I'll be at both the Modular and the Nebular Summit in Brussels. So I'll be flying over to Brussels for like 48 hours. Have to get back to move apartments, actually. But we'll be speaking at Nebular Summit, which is a Cosmos-focused conference, which will be awesome, and a modular conference about app chains and this app chain thesis, which we're obviously subscribers to. So that'll be awesome. And then August is pretty packed. I'll be in Taipei for ABS, Asia Blockchain Summit, Istanbul Blockchain Week in Istanbul. We'll be down at CoinFest in Bali, and maybe one other. And then, of course, in September, there's KBW, Token 2049, etc. Also, it is crazy that we're at the midway point of the year. We're about to flip into Q3. But pretty soon, and actually just like roughly a little bit under 2 months, we have Mantra and Ohm's 4th birthday. So really, really exciting to see how far we've come in that time. I do say like 4 years has been, an absolute, the ride of a lifetime. And we really haven't even, scratched the surface of where we want to get yet, which is super exciting. We're really excited to see, some of the community who stuck with us through the beginning. I mean, I had someone, DM me this week on Telegram and say, just wanted to talk real quick, and said they've been holding since pre-sale, which was in, June, July of 2020. So, it's awesome to get messages like that. I really love hearing from you guys. It really means a lot to me. And for me, this is a 10 plus year journey from here on out, right? Like Mantra is my baby, Mantra is my life. And you know, I'm just excited to give it all for you guys, honestly. So anywho, I'll take a few more questions, and then, you know, hopefully this was an interesting, you know, slightly more in-depth look into my thinking, and, you know, a little bit more reflective than some of the other ones we've done. But I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed this session. ODV is asking, is it still possible to earn points depositing into the vault? There is going to be another one, so do not worry. We're still going to be able to give people mission points. We're going to start calling them karma. Let's just use that. It's a newer term. We're going to call them karma now. It's funny because like these, you know, these narratives and these things you see on Twitter, like points becomes not a very attractive thing to say anymore. But it's funny because the idea of having like karma points, or just karma as we're going to call it, is something that we actually literally wrote in the initial Mantra white paper, Mantra DAO white paper, you know, over 4 years ago. And now it's coming into fruition, because effectively what karma was back then was an on-chain reputation system for credit scoring, but now it's effectively an on-chain reputation system for who's participating in the ecosystem and who should, you know, earn an ability to have future rewards from the protocol. So it's crazy how this thing comes full circle. Really excited that we can continue to stick with that. But yeah, we'll have a new pool launched shortly. That's going to be even better from a user experience perspective. We took a lot of feedback from you guys, and we'll have a lot more points. So if you haven't, in the meantime, go check out the leaderboard. We're going to keep iterating on that, keep improving on that, keep launching new features and functionalities there. So go sign up, create your Mantra wallet, and start, you know, being on the lookout for more quests and more activities, both on Mantra Zone and on the Galxe page. Oh, and then I guess one last thing before I sign off. We do have the Incubator program going on, which kicked off in Dubai earlier this month. The teams down there have been awesome. Really strong teams, good builders, great people. And they've been you know, in Dubai for a few weeks, and now they're actually here in Hong Kong at our office, working very hard. You know, they did a pitch for the team to start, you know, presenting a little bit. A lot of them are in the process of raising funds. We have, you know, a number of projects which have already gotten term sheets, or already gotten funding, and will be deploying on Mantra mainnet imminently. It's a very exciting time to be in the Mantra community. And just remember, you know, all these projects that are launching will also be airdropping tokens to Ohm stakers on mainnet, right? So, you know, that's a very important thing to understand. This is a, you know, value accrual mechanism for the Mantra ecosystem economy. And this is something that we'll continue to not only, you know, push for, but in certain cases, like the Incubator mandate, where, you know, these ecosystem projects actually have to drop to our community. So that is a good utility for holding Ohm and staking it. Not financial advice, of course, but just do with that information what you will. DYOR. Your own research, as Jay would always say. And yeah, so a lot of exciting stuff coming. Like this summer, we are literally full speed ahead. There's no slowdown. I was telling someone this week, like I haven't heard the term holiday, because I don't even, it's not in my dialogue. I don't say that word. We're full on, ready to go, blast into the summer, and gonna hit it really hard come the fall and through the end of the year. And looking forward to have you guys along for the ride. So with that, if there's no further questions, I will leave it there. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all. I think I've spoken to myself enough for the last 40 minutes. And I'll see you guys in roughly a month's time. But again, hopefully this one was worth the wait. And again, apologies for last time rescheduling. And thanks again for the support. Have a great rest of your day, evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you're at. Stay safe, take care, and appreciate y'all. Cheers.